How you doing? Welcome to the first episode of the Quarterback Fundamental Clinic. In this episode, we will be going over quarterback center exchange, and we'll be going over quarterback stance. So the first thing we're gonna go over is the quarterback proper stance. See right here? Now, a lot of times what happens is that this is just something that's kind of flubbed over. A lot of people don't go over this. So what you want to do just in our natural stance, and I just call it an athletic stance. If you look at baseball players, basketball, soccer, anybody, this is probably just a proper athletic stance. So what we're going to have, I got my man Marcel here helping me out. You're going to have to put your feet just slightly outside of shoulder width apart, okay? So the shoulder's right here, so you're going to have your feet right outside of that. And what that's going to do is create stability, and we're going to actually revisit this as far as when it comes back to throwing. In addition to your feet being shoulder width apart, you're gonna have a slight bend in your knees, a slight bend. Again, this is not a hunch in your back. He's not hunching his back over. This is a slight bend in his knees, okay? So we're still remaining tall, okay? And then third, you're gonna be on the balls of your feet. Again, not on your tippy toes, but on the balls of your feet. Your heels are gonna be just slightly elevated, okay? So it's gonna look just right there. It's an athletic stance. So you're ready to attack at anything. So if you're a linebacker, you move to any position in probably any other sport, this is an athletic quarterback stance, okay? Next, so we have our stance. We're gonna go over quarterback center exchange. Now again, I realize that, you know, in the modern era of football, there's a lot of shotgun being played. But there are situations, even if you're a 100% shotgun team, there's going to be situations in which you get under the center, whether it be goal line situations and third, fourth, and short, things of that nature. So an easy way to practice this and get ready for the season is that, well, let me go over this first. First, there's two ways to position your hands to get a proper quarterback center exchange. Now the first, what you want to do is you're going to put the bottom of your palm together and you're going to get wide. What you don't want to do is be here, okay? You don't want to be here, because what that's going to do is that when that center hikes that ball, you're going to kill your hands. And you know, playing quarterback, if you start stubbing these bags, it's going to be a bad day for you, okay? So these are one way, okay? You got to have it wide under there. The second way is that what I like to do is I'll actually lock my thumbs. So you lock my thumbs. Again, you just have to find your comfort, and I'm sure maybe if your coach has a preference, you can go with that, but I like to lock my thumbs just so I'm secure when I'm down there, okay? So the second part, dads, coaches, if we're just practicing this, we don't have a center, you're gonna put your hand here just to give him weight, because what you wanna do as a quarterback, you wanna push up against the center. So that way you're secure, you're in there, and you're able to get a proper stance. Now again, what we don't want, Marcel, what we don't want to do when we're taking this stance, when we're taking the quarterback center exchange, what we don't want to do is that we don't want to be way down here, okay? We don't want to be so far where we're afraid to just, you know, put our hands against that center's bottom. We don't want to be down here, because what that's going to do is that it's going to do two things. When we're attempting to pass the ball, it's going to create us to be flat-footed in one scenario, and when we're attempting to pass, because we're down here, we're going to have trouble getting in our drop step, which we'll cover later. And the third thing it's going to do is that, it was happened to me before, is that if we're down here, particularly if we got a taller center, and that center is not disciplined, he doesn't fire off correctly and stay low, and he brings that butt up, he's going to hit you in your chin. Okay, so we want to have our hands firm against that center's bottom. Have our hands, the top of our back of our hands firm against that center's bottom. We want to have our hands wide, and we want to get as tall as possible. Okay, go ahead, Marcel. All right, so get in the stance. Now again, we want to see, just a little bit. Okay, and then the third, one more thing I want to go about. Some quarterbacks like to stay even. How do you do it, Marcel?
I usually keep one leg back. So
What's your leg?
My left. I usually keep my left leg back.
Okay. Why would you keep the left leg back?
So when I receive the snap, it's easy for me to already have my leg back. So when I take a drop, I already have a leg back.
Yeah. And he does that because, and I do the same thing, I go left leg back here because I'm already got separation from the line. So that way, again, if my center is undisciplined, he takes a step back or he just gets knocked off his butt. If I'm here, I'm already creating a separation, and it's gonna be easier for me to get in my drop step without getting hit by the center. Again, it depends on how you taught. I know some coaches, particularly in the shotgun like you, they'll do the right leg back first, but again, listen to your coach, but this is just the way I teach it, and this is the way I learned it. Again, so you have to go with what feels comfortable. So you can go even, or you can go your left leg cock. Okay. All right, so you go here. Well, you go how you feel comfortable, it's okay. Okay, so dads, once you figure out proper handstands, what it feel comfortable for him, whether he's gonna just mash up the bottom of his palm, he's gonna lock, you have your athletic stance, and then you figure out how it's gonna be comfortable for him to align himself, then we can start practicing the step. You wanna get some front hand pressure here, and you just wanna here, okay? And you gotta get it up in there. You gotta get it up in there, okay? You wanna just practice that, and again, it's not much to that. It's not much to that, but this is something that you can practice. So again, when you're 7, 8-year-old, when you're middle school guy, never played football or is transitioning into the quarterback position, he's familiar. So he's ready, so it's not he's not hung up on that. So the next thing we're gonna do is go over shotgun. Again, shotgun is pretty similar. Break your feet. You're still gonna have your athletic stance. And again, you're still gonna have how he's cocked. You can do it how you like. You have to be comfortable with how you do. And again, the only thing that's be different is that I like to, particularly with my young quarterbacks, I want to go ahead and just form the triangle, just like I'm a receiver. So that way you can have a good grip on the ball, you can eye it in, and that's the big thing. Sometimes what happens with this is because a lot of times we're passing out of this formation, young quarterbacks tend to take their eyes off the ball, right? And they fumble it because you're trying to look downfield. But for our young guys, you want to keep that eye on the ball, look it in until you build that relationship with your center. Your center is going to have a different relationship, and you'll figure out his rhythm, you'll figure out where he goes, and then that way you can get a little bit more advanced. Now, it's not much to this. Again, this is just something you want to practice daily. Something you just want to practice daily. And in addition, what we'll do with this, well, I'll show you that later. So now, guys, you've learned proper quarterback stance, you learned how to take the snap from under center, and you learned shotgun. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw a little change in the game. So again, we like this. Now, if it's muddy, guys, if the ball's wet, it's muddy. Now, again, we want to try to always be on the tip of our toes, but we might have to go a little bit more flat-footed when it's muddy just to secure our footing, okay? And in addition, when it's muddy, we might have to go a little further under center than what we normally do so we can secure the ball, okay? And again, it's nothing that's really that different, but when it's muddy, when the ball's wet, you have to make certain adjustments with the snap, and you have to communicate that with your center. Now we'll go shotgun right quick. Now, in addition to just our traditional shotgun, what we want to practice is we want to practice chaos situations. We want to practice, go ahead and get your proper stance. We want to practice when that ball, we want to practice, go ahead and square up. We want to practice, getting that ball off the ground. We want to practice when it's to the left. We want to practice it when it's high. These are things that you definitely want to practice so that way you are prepared. Guys, thanks for tuning in. See you next week.